Welcome to today's product session. It's been an exciting few days and hope you're having a great time at Altitude. In this session, we're going to talk about the future of an automated digital workplace. I am Harith Patel, part of the product management team at BetterCloud, primarily responsible for BetterCloud's managed product, everything from user, group, and license management to even permissions orchestration across SaaS applications. It's my distinct pleasure representing at my second Altitude and excited to share some new changes and enhancements in BetterCloud over the course of this session. Before we dive into the meat of the session, let's talk about what is a digital workplace before we go further. The digital workplace is a relatively new concept that speaks to enabling tech-savvy employees to access the systems and tools that they need from any device, be it a smartphone, a tablet, a laptop, or a desktop, regardless of location, primarily leveraging applications in the cloud infrastructure. It's something a lot of us have been hoping to achieve. However, in the world we live in today, it is considered the new normal. Emerging technologies have made it possible to deliver the infrastructure needed to enable employees to work securely and productively from home, the office, or on the road. A world where our employees receive the best employee experience to be more productive and effective in their day-to-day life at your organizations. Especially this year, coronavirus has forced years of digital transformation into just mere 6 months, and we're seeing countless companies pivoting to be more digital than ever. Employees are working from their home, their kitchen counters, by the pool, from Airbnbs, and even while on the road. These are some of the setups that I just showed you that are being used by BetterClouders over the past few months. And this one is my workstation or my home setup. I also have a second stand-up desk, but I typically use the sit-down desk most of the day. All of this has led to higher expectations from the team managing those workplaces. It's no longer about making sure the air conditioner is working in the office or the food pantry has been stocked up. Making sure the VPN is working is the new thing. Everyone, respectively, has access to so many applications and they need access to these on a day-to-day basis. If someone moves teams, the behind-the-scenes automations need to be seamless. Therefore, the expectations from IT have drastically gone up. And in the current work from home, or you may call it the work from anywhere era, it's definitely not an easy gig. Because of the new normal, work ceases to exist or work completely stops if technology stops working. So let's talk about two examples which would typically use up a lot of IT's time. Let's say someone is requesting access to a new application. This requires approval from their manager, providing them the new permissions or logging into that application, and IT then informing the user that their access has been granted. Typically, this takes about 2 hours, considering the manual work, the manual clicks, and also the number of things we're juggling at any given moment in time. Similarly, when someone joins a new team, that's a lot of work. To give them access to all the permissions that their peers have, to the right tools, and sometimes even adding them to multiple groups, removing them from certain groups, and even upgrading their licenses. All of this is detail-oriented and could be cumbersome and tedious, and could take up to 3 hours. However, as we start automating all these steps, we start seeing immense rewards and drastic improvements in efficiency, especially when you start automating the more core and foundational steps taken by 80 to 90% of your employees on a daily basis. We'll cover more and more of these core foundational steps in a bit later in the presentation with some examples. So on top of all these responsibilities, IT is now also responsible for productivity, security, and savings. When I say productivity, I mean seamless access to applications and the data within them, faster access and permissions approvals, and to also providing self-help tools and processes for your end users. From a security standpoint, immediate removal of departing employees, proper sharing of sensitive documents, and even proper device and access management. From a savings standpoint, Optimizing spend across all these SaaS applications has become even more vital with so many budget constraints and our growing organizations. With all of this, our employees expect a smoother experience in today's world. And on the other hand, we as organizations also want to get the most out of our most expensive resources, our employees, of course, our most expensive talent, and that's a lot of things to do for IT. And there's a lot of things to digest. But the big question is, where does this all start from? We believe it primarily starts by understanding your users and how different they are. Even when you think they're very similar, there can be granular differences. So how you define your users and how you manage your lifecycle is key. Employee lifecycle is and will always be the center point. Even if our work culture changes to a new work from home environment, work from anywhere culture, or any new future format, employee lifecycle is here to stay. So if you want to look at an employee lifecycle, this could be 40, 50 steps long. But for this example, let's simplify it and let's say it's 9 steps and put those into 9 major steps. And we can categorize them into 3 main stages: onboarding, offboarding, and mid-lifecycle management. To provide a world-class experience, digitally that is, we need to help automate this perfectly, which in turn automates the overall digital experience for your employees. Looking at the first one, onboarding. Managing and securing an employee's onboarding process is more than half the battle. 62% of employees experience a higher productivity based on solely their onboarding experiences onto their workplaces or their digital workplace in this case, and it starts well before their first day at our organizations. Let's see what an automated digital workplace experience looks like for a new employee. So let's run through an example. Let's say John accepts the job offer and decides on a start date. This data is stored in Workday. Leading up to his first day, John receives an email from IT inquiring what type of laptop he would like to use, a MacBook or a Windows PC. John also answers various other questions to provide his t-shirt size, his chosen pronouns, and various other things. All of these were optional, but John chooses to answer all of them. Based on all the collected data, on day 1, John notices that his email account is set up, his email signature contains his pronouns, and he got his choice of MacBook. He even got company swag based on his t-shirt size. He's already excited to be part of this company. Once he starts checking other things and checks his email and calendar, he notices that he is already registered for the proper training classes and they're already on his calendar. He notices that he is in the right Slack workspaces, he's added to the proper team channels, and included in the correct Google groups or distribution groups for Azure, and he is involved in the company groups, the Atlanta specific location groups, and his team group. He also has access to all the tools he needs to do his part, from Jira, Confluence, Zoom, Zendesk, and even Concur for his one-off trips as an employee. His manager, Steve, also received an email informing him that it's John's first day today and reminds him to check in. As this was a remote hire, John and Steve have met during the interview process, but they've never sat down together to talk more about each other. So this would be a great opportunity. This short example shows how John experienced an onboarding experience as a new hire and how easy it was for him to start his first day. Moving on to the next few steps, let's cover mid-lifecycle. This section of the lifecycle, when it comes to automation, is usually very high level and not super granular. However, I believe we still have an opportunity to do a lot more here. To help automate this more, let's look at how John's doing. We're checking in with John after a year. Looks like John has been doing really well for himself. He's looking to do an internal transfer to another department within the same company. He's going to undergo a title change, and he looks like he's getting promoted to a manager position. And due to this, He is now required to have enforced two-factor authentication on all his accounts. And in addition, he's being added to manager groups in Azure and even gets access to SharePoint files and repositories that are more manager-oriented. As his role is also going to be more customer-focused, he now gets access to Salesforce and Expensify, so he can expense those team dinners, his customer dinners, and his access from Atlassian is also removed. That's just another amazing experience for John, and he loves this. This is one of the reasons why he's sticking around with his company, and he can't be more happier than possible. As John now interacts with more customers, automations can help monitor for suspicious activities on his files and documents to help protect company information. If a file is made public, an automation can immediately fix the permissions and inform John, or we can offer a choice to John to keep it public or revert it back. It can also automatically send a Slack message to the security teams informing them of the change, creating a tracking incident in ServiceNow for documentation purposes, and all of this can be done seamlessly. If it wasn't for automation, this could have taken way longer, helping improve the overall digital workplace to make it more secure, more faster, more efficient with remediation steps is a good win with automation. And bringing us to the last few steps of an employee's journey. This one is critical, as a departing employee is always going to leave a gap in the workings of an organization. So this one is key for security, but also very important for the rest of the employees to have a more pleasant experience finding all the documents and data that were created by the departing employee. And it's easily available in a shared location. So let's go back to John. It's been 2 years and he's looking to move to another company. So John has decided that he wants to leave the company and head to another startup in San Francisco. He emails his manager, Laura, informing her of his resignation. Laura knows John is an amazing team player and an amazing asset for her team. However, she understands the opportunity at hand. So she informs HR that John has decided to leave and provides them with the last day. And that information is stored in Greenhouse. One thing you'll notice here is the company made a change from Workday to Greenhouse and from Azure to Google as their primary email provider. So you'll see those showing up in this workflow. On his last day, John sees that his Google account is secured by signing John out of all active sessions. His access is revoked, his passwords have been reset, and his two-factor authentication is also being disabled. His remaining calendar events are transferred to Laura, so she can be the owner of the team-wide meetings that John had scheduled, helping minimize the downstream impact for disruptions that happen when an employee departs. John's files are moved to a centralized location through a shared drive, a team shared drive, so they're easily available in the near future, and you don't have to go finding all the files in various different locations. An auto reply is set up on John's email, and his emails are now being forwarded to Laura so that the emails reach a current employee and are not lost in a black hole when external parties email John. John's iPhone also undergoes a corporate data wipe, and he now no longer has access to any of his applications, while all his personal applications are still intact. All of these steps are completed in mere minutes, completely securing everything into place and providing a good experience for the departing employee, in this case, John. However, after 30 days, a wait for approval action automation kicks in and asks IT if this account can be archived. As John is not part of any legal holds, IT approves that step and his account is now being archived so they can actually save on spend on the accounts that were for John. So while running through all these use cases, we saw amazing benefits, amazing improvements around automation. However, we ran through a couple integrations that play a key role in these automations. And I wanted to provide a quick update on some of those key automations. The first one was Workday. Workday integration is going to help close these manual steps of CSV exports, Slack messages between HR and IT. All of this manual steps, we want to help you automate. This is something that we hope will bring HR and IT closer to help build a more user-focused automation rather than automations based on accounts. This is our way of expanding into another realm of SaaS applications, and we hope to also bring in ADP, SuccessFactors, UltiPro, and various other HR providers in the BetterCloud family over the next few years. With Google Shared Drives as an integration, we're hoping to empower your teams to effectively manage users and teams in Google Shared Drives, beginning from initial user lifecycle tasks like onboarding, management of file, folder, and even group ownerships. This one has been one of the most requested integrations from our Better IT community, and it has been quite some time. However, we're excited to be able to talk about this, talk about the use cases we're addressing, and bring this one to fruition in the very near future. Azure AD being the central glue for everything Microsoft, especially their cloud-based identity and access management service, this integration will help strengthen the data accuracy for all your SaaS applications across that data. We have supported the connection into Office 365 and now Microsoft for over a year now, but we wanted to expand more in this area to help cover our bases for you, our customers. Device management is becoming key. Workspace ONE, as we start seeing more people work remote and people working from various devices, this one is going to be critical. This one is going to help provide a more seamless digital workplace experience. You can also see this further expanding into helping improve our BetterCloud notifications and tying those push notifications to managed Workspace ONE devices for faster workflow approvals and efficient notifications delivery. And last but not the least, ServiceNow. As we look at all these automations, we see that we still live in a world where we need a ticketing system to help track and organize all the tasks at hand. Think about scenarios where someone requests for a password reset, approvals, or access to applications. All of these automations could provide immense efficiency gains. And that is what ServiceNow is going to help you automate some of those service requests, leveraging some of the automations within BetterCloud. So as I look through all these applications, we're making key investments across various realms, helping you connect to the right places and applications seamlessly. Making this a more collaborative effort across IT and HR. We strongly believe that this is going to change how you see BetterCloud over the coming years. We have been ramping up this past year to improve our overall efficiency to deliver full and complete integrations and are really excited to make these available to you. And with that, I'm proud to share that all of these integrations are planned in the coming months. That's multiple integrations every quarter. And during our next keynote, we will go into more depth around all of these. Supporting all major SaaS players in BetterCloud is a key for our vision. And we're glad that we're getting there with you. And with that, getting to our end of our session, I wanted to kind of end with a quick recap around automation. I believe the bottom line of business process automation is the bottom line. Automating processes saves time and allows resources to be diverted somewhere else. It allows our organizations to remain smaller and more agile. Increased efficiency, employee productivity, and lower costs. All of this translates to healthier profit margins for businesses, small and large. How automation transforms the economy at large remains to be seen. However, it appears inevitable that we're headed towards a future of more and more automation. What this means for businesses, workers, and consumers will be subject of many conversations, debates, and discussions moving forward. However, one thing I'm certain about, if it can be automated, it will be. And I hope you can leverage BetterCloud for some of these key pieces across SaaS. And then a quick few follow-ups. The first steps to understanding a fully automated digital workplace of the current future is to figure out what steps can be automated and what steps you want to automate. So I urge you to evaluate your day-to-day tasks and make a checklist. Look for ways to automate those processes or those steps. Leverage Better Cloud templates to spur ideas and discuss options with the Better IT community. And lastly, meet with our expert advisory group, our experts to help you find more places for automation. Or even reach out to any Better Clouder. We're all here to help you meet your automation needs. I would like to thank you for attending Altitude and hope you have a fun rest of the day. Thank you.